I think there's only one place to start. So we're going to go look into Infinity War today. And a few other things if you get the time. As usual, we're joined by Mo. Actually, you weren't here last week, were you?
No, I was just here in spirit.
Gave us 1 hour notice. Sorry guys, I can't make it.
It's fine.
He came 1 hour early. He came 1 hour early today though.
Just to make up for it. All is forgiven, I guess.
Yeah.
Nah, take a bit more than that.
After what we have seen, all is forgiven. And let's get to the chase. Cut to the chase.
Introduce Eleni as well, man. I can't introduce you. Then just cut.
I'm here too, right?
That's so rude, man.
I was here last week.
Okay, they've introduced me straight to show. And Eleni, how are you?
I'm good.
We good. You good after yesterday? Cool.
Yeah, I've calmed down.
We shall see. Anyway, so let's just jump straight into this. To be honest, this is the only film that came out this week. Everything else is pretty much non-existent. So
yeah, no, it's not on the radar.
It's not on the radar, yeah. So it's gone pretty much dedicated to just Avengers: Infinity War. So this is directed by Russo brothers, starring pretty much everyone.
Well,
you guys just want to roll them off?
We've got the three Chris's: Evans, Hemsworth, Pratt, Robert Downey Jr., Tom Holland, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong, Tom Hiddleston, Gwyneth Paltrow, Don Cheadle, Sebastian Stan, Mark Ruffalo, Scarlett Johansson, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany, Letitia Wright, Dave Bautista, Bradley Cooper, Josh Brolin, Idris Elba, Karen Gillian, Zoe Saldana, Chadwick Boseman, Danae Guerrera, Vin Diesel, Stan Lee, Benicio del Toro, Anthony Mackie, Peter Dinklage, and Pom Clementieff.
Wow.
And
that's a lot of people.
The main one.
So yeah, this is the combination of like 10 years of Marvel movies all leading up to this. So the big bad boss Thanos has finally decided to get off his chair and show up. I mean, this was teased back in Avengers 1. When was that? 2011?
I think even before Avengers.
Around that, something like that. So it's been a while.
Time ago now.
So this is probably the biggest movie of the year so far. Probably gonna be the biggest movie of the year. So let's open the table. Actually, you saw it just recently, haven't you? So you got the freshest. You've got the freshest.
2 hours back. Just 2 hours back, and I've still got a splitting.
Right. So this is non-spoiler, by the way. So we're gonna try and limit as much as possible.
Absolutely non-spoiler.
If anyone does spoil it, we'll just punch them afterwards.
Yeah.
Or during.
During. Right. So Mo, you wanna kick off?
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone by now knows what the film is about. It's all superheroes coming in. And Thanos is trying to take over the world. Mm-hmm. Well, everyone knows about the Infinity Stones.
It's not really taking over them all. Like
I didn't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil his motivation.
I think people know his motivation, but carry on.
Thanos wants all the Infinity Stones.
It's like the destroyer.
Thanos wants the Infinity Stones, and the Avengers and the other superheroes want to stop him from getting there. The one thing I thought that I kept thinking while watching this film was how many characters there were, and how intricately and expertly interwoven they were in their stories and in their character building. Because the best thing I thought about the film was that it wasn't just another like set piece, like a showcasing of
it could
VFX. It could easily have been. But the Russos in their expert hands, and they've proven themselves to be experts. They've made it into a character-driven film. There is loads of character stories here, and every one of them, almost all of them, have a completion, a path to completion, where you can see how the character is developed, and the story follows that, which makes it so engrossing and so emotionally resonant, rather than just a Transformers like, oh look, he's
explosions, American flags everywhere,
Michael Bay.
riding a robot Tyrannosaurus. They could have easily done something like that here.
They could have.
Because you've got aliens here, you've got everything from space.
It still looks great.
It looks fantastic.
Well, the budgeting that was it,
$300 million just for the film.
Yeah, so I think
just for the film, and you'd imagine marketing would be another 300 million or so.
Like looking at how many like world trips that they've been doing. I follow a lot of them on Instagram and stuff, and they're like in China.
Followed or stalking?
Like a couple of them stalking a little bit, but no, they're all over the world doing press conferences and making little. They did like a Brady Bunch.
Yeah, of all the Jim Kimmel or one of the American chat shows here.
Yeah, it was. They've been doing so much, so yeah, I can imagine it's even more now.
I think you got to credit the Russo brothers. They managed to get like, I think it's like 40 heroes, which is like the official
57
something mental.
57.
Managed to weave that into even 3 hours. You know, I mean, I think what I can say is, even though at 2.5 hours, it didn't feel like 2.5 hours. I was like, you know what, I would be happily want to see more of this movie rather than feeling, oh Jesus, at the time. Because at 2.5 hours, it could easily felt like this really is dragging on. But from
You
my
know,
opinion,
I have the other opinion. You know how I wish Hobbit was done in 2 films? I wish this was done in 3 films.
Well, this
because
is-
there's a
I
lot
wait-
of
oh, yeah.
material. There's a lot of material
This is
here.
essentially 2 movies though, because the original plan was called Infinity War Part 1 and it's Avengers for Infinity War Part 2, but they've decided not to go down that route. I think maybe for spoiler reasons, they haven't unleashed the title for the 4th one. But that was the plan. They're actually 2 separate movies which are viewed as one, basically. So
Sorry,
that's
I
fine.
know it's 2.
I thought
Yeah.
it was unnamed Avengers Infinity War Part 2 or
Yeah, but it's supposed to
something
be
along
like Part 2. So next Avengers 4 is literally Part 2 of this. So they're supposed to be seen as one.
No, of course, that is
Yeah.
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah,
happen.
that's
But I was saying it should have been a trilogy.
Oh, trilogy.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Instead of Part 1, Part 2, it should have been 3 films.
Yeah, because I think that they have done a really, really good job to put so many characters and storylines and character arcs and all this kind of stuff into one movie. But it does feel a little bit rushed. Like the scenes are a little bit short in places where they could be a bit longer. It means that
Very much,
some
yeah.
of the emotional parts aren't, they're not given the time for you to savor that moment and
Exactly, yeah.
like sort of take it in. And it's just kind of like, right, okay, done, on to the next bit. And then there's a joke or something like that. And it
Lot of
just,
jokes.
and you drop whatever just happened. It's very much, I just compared it to like a soap opera where you have a sort of 30-second to a minute scene and then you go somewhere else for a
Just
minute,
chops
then
and chops around.
and like I don't think it's a terrible thing. I think that they have done really well with it. It just, I agree, it could have been 3 movies.
Yeah. Nevertheless, it's an extremely efficient film. I'm just
extraordinary.
blown out of my mind.
'Cause
I
there-
couldn't have done this.
There
film.
are like basically.
Not saying I can't.
There's pretty much 4 arcing plots. So you got Tony Stark and his adventure with the Guardians. You got
Yeah.
Thor's old adventure. You got Thanos' storyline, and you got the storyline with Captain America. So you got 4
Yeah.
separate plots. It's obviously it's gonna be tricky to meld them all into one consistent plot. So you're gonna anticipate some jumping around because, like I said, it's only 2 movies, so you gotta fit everything as
Think-
much as you can.
Yeah,
So.
either you could have done it as 3 or you could have like just chopped back on some of the like less important scenes. But a lot of really big stuff happens
Oh yeah, I mean this-
throughout the film. And it's really incredible what they have done.
I think what you gotta say is
Yep.
Thanos is the star of this movie actually. Because
Yeah.
I did not know much about this. You don't really know much about this guy when you come into the movie because you just see him on this chair.
Except
like on the
for he's
post-credit
purple,
scene.
he likes sitting in his chair.
Exactly. He's a wonderful chart.
And you saw the Infinity Gauntlet
Yeah,
at the end
bits and
of,
bobs.
I think it was, yeah, I think it might.
It's the first Avengers here. He goes, I'll do it myself. So,
Yeah.
so going into this movie, you don't really know much about this guy apart from that he's just a badass. And in this movie, he does a really great job of pushing Thanos as not just a villain, but you know his motives are
Yeah.
and why he's doing it for. Because what he thinks he's doing, he thinks he's genuinely doing it for the sake of
And you can empathize with that as
Exactly.
well
Yeah.
to some extent.
And there's there's a certain scene with one of the characters that he has to make a sacrifice, and you really feel the emotion in that scene. Because I thought, are they really going to force this suddenly in one movie? But they did it in such a way. For I actually believe that's the case. But that was my opinion. on that
Because they
regard.
could have gone a different way, and it's not as good, obviously. Like when they have like Malekith in Thor: The Dark World, who had no real
Or Ronin the
motivation.
accuser.
You know,
Yeah.
they both have very similar motivation, Malekith and Thanos. But he's just so much more humanized. You understand him.
Yeah.
You, like I was saying, you empathize with him, and you almost want him to win to some extent because
Yeah.
you understand
That
him so
is
well.
actually, I think Josh Brolin deserves a lot of credit for doing this because
Oh,
I think he
definitely.
really,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Avengers kind of feel like the side point of this movie. It's more of his journey.
Absolutely,
And, like,
yeah.
I mean, I
He
was not
definitely
expecting that.
He steals the show, and at some level, he puts across his argument and his motivation so, like, logically, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? Yeah.
Do I feel wrong
yeah,
for
I
like
feel-
kind of supporting
I
his?
feel like I agree with you on some level, and I don't know if I should feel bad about that or not. But he definitely steals the show, and
Yeah.
Josh Brolin's done a great job.
Can we also talk about the VFX, the graphics work in this film? I think it's
Fantastic.
Well, I
top notch.
suppose I'm saying with a budget, man.
Yeah.
If
With
you-
that budget.
No, no,
if you
but-
got some, I mean, like Justice League has some really bad.
But you're
CGI.
saying, exactly, that's
For
what
the
I was
money,
gonna
yeah,
say.
you could.
Justice
And
League paid
Justice
so much.
League was the same cost.
Yeah, exactly.
It costs the same
But
amount.
we agreed most of the budget went to the mustache, man. That
Yeah,
that
that's
that-
true.
Genuinely, it's one of the best graphics work I've seen since Avatar, the
Yeah.
James Cameron Avatar.
Oh,
It's
let's
just
not go into
mind blowing.
the James Cameron
I
Avengers
was
beef.
literally blown out of my mind how realistic Thanos was. To think the complete of him is like an animated character. Compare that with Justice League's villain.
Was it
Steppenwolf, right?
Steppenwolf, yeah.
How silly he looked.
Yeah.
How unrealistic he looked.
Did either of you see it in 3D?
What? Avengers?
Avengers,
I
yeah.
will probably
No,
tomorrow.
I'm definitely not watching 3D.
I saw it in 3D.
Was it a good experience?
Yeah. Like normally I don't like watching stuff in 3D because it is a little bit
Gimmicky.
not gimmicky, it's just a little busy. And like some of the action is a bit blurry and you don't really get the whole thing, but I don't know whether it was where we were sitting or the camera work and the visual effects, but it worked fantastically.
Right.
It really, really did.
No, I've only seen one 3D, that was Avatar, and even that gave me a headache. And this
If you've got a headache now, after seeing it in 2D,
I'm not
don't see it in
watching
3D.
Yeah.
Well, before we move on to the negatives, I want to mention the banter, man, because it's on
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Oh my! I had a fear that it might just be too much banter, like in Ragnarok, which is one-liner joke, one-liner.
Yeah,
But here, like, because there's so many interactions that you see. You see Doctor Strange and Tony Stark.
They're all
Spider-Man.
new.
They're all new, exactly.
Yeah.
So they've been really
Yeah.
waiting for a long time to see these characters meet.
Yeah.
And Drax, oh my God, Drax is amazing.
Drax and
Mantis.
Thor and Rocket, the
Rocket.
rabbit raccoon now.
Oh, yeah.
Rabbit, start the engine.
Yeah, I mean, all of them. I mean, this is so many one-liners. I don't want to spoil all the lines, but
No,
Yeah.
the jokes are on point. It's,
I'm
it's,
gonna-
it's,
on
it's
point.
Guardians of the Galaxy kind of joke, not Guardians of the
I'm
Galaxy.
going to
2.
say one line,
Yeah.
which will be totally meaningful without context. But why is Gamora? That was the one line. As soon as that came out, I still laughed. On the
Why
Why is Gamora?
on the drive home, I was like, why is Gamora?
Oh my god.
That was really
I
good.
was disappointed from not address that vital issue of why is Gamora.
But I want to take it back to what you first said at first. Like with Thor Ragnarok, I said as well that it was just they've got the balance wrong. And since like after the first Guardians of the Galaxy and the first Avengers, they've gone too far to the comedy side.
Yeah.
I would say
And-
Thor did it very well, but
Thor,
Well, that was directed by comedic directors. I think that was the tone
Yeah.
they wanted to do that in a
Yeah.
sense. So
but I think in this one they've gone back, traced it back to where they had the good balance.
it feels like Avengers, doesn't it?
It feels like
the first Avengers
original
film.
Avengers.
Yeah.
It does.
movie.
It's got that magic of the first Avengers, and I'm so happy for it.
I'm so happy.
That film was like a trendsetter, a trailblazer in its own
Yeah.
right. But this one feels like
And if you
ups
didn't,
the ante every way.
yeah, if you didn't know already, the Russo brothers did Captain America: Winter Soldier,
Which is
and
the best
Civil,
film. which is
and Civil War.
which is the best Marvel movie.
It still is.
Still is
in
the
my,
best
in my
one.
view.
What, Civil War?
No.
Winter Soldier.
Oh, Winter Soldier. Oh, yeah.
In my mind, it's still the best film.
Right, guys. So let's move on to what you didn't really like. So we don't.
I wanted to say-
Oh, you know, one more good thing.
Just a couple of things. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Before we go on to the bad.
Just a couple of positives for me. Like with a Disney movie, you've always got the problem that they might pull a couple of punches, but they didn't.
Oh yeah, it's
They
savage.
followed through, and like I was not expecting them to go quite as hard as they actually did.
Yeah.
And you know, they might like take stuff back in the second one and undo stuff and whatever, but to actually put it, I was shocked by the end of it. I was actually shocked that they'd gone through.
Bold film.
It was a really bold move.
People say
It's a bold move, card.
people say Last Jedi is bold.
Let's not talk about
No,
that.
no.
please.
Not
Oh,
talk about it.
sorry.
I'm in a good mood.
You're gonna be bad. Do you want to be
And,
banned?
and it was good to have like the variation between your big action sequences and then your sort of closer intimate scenes.
Yeah.
That was another thing I said about Thor Ragnarok. It was like, no, I said about Black Panther, it was all up here. There was no variation. There was no kind of like slowing down the pace or anything like that. This had that, which was great. And I really liked Thanos' children. I thought it was good to have, yes,
Thanos is what?
the children, the like Ebony Maw, Corvus Glaive,
Oh,
Proxima Midnight.
the other
the
villains.
yeah. Because then you don't have Thanos in like every single scene, like,
Correct,
taking over the entire thing. You've got multiple battles on different fronts.
That was another thing. I need to watch it a few more times.
Gotta-
But just imagining you only had a few main villains and so many more heroes.
Yeah.
Just to have the villains in all places and make them fight the heroes. That was so expertly done.
Yeah.
I just cannot imagine how they pulled that off, but they
Because
did.
it's good to really like split the heroes,
Yeah.
and that's what they did by
They had
having
to.
them all on
You can't have
different
them
fronts.
all just
Yeah.
fighting in one place. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
one place versus Thanos.
But it was genuinely done. It wasn't
Yeah.
forced.
Because
They
that would
have
just
to do
follow
that.
the whole kind of like, oh, there's one big villain. Oh, now there's a beam of light coming out the sky.
the sky beam.
the sky beam, and now we defeat the main villain.
Yeah.
Right. So we got the
Yeah.
good stuff out the
Got
way.
the
All
good
right,
stuff
good
out
All
the way.
right. Let's go into the negatives. Who wants to start this off?
Elena, you can.
Yes, the music, the score, I didn't like it. It didn't fit.
Only part that worked was when the Avengers theme came on, like at one point, specific point.
That was like nostalgia.
Yeah. I think the audience actually.
That was great. But I think it didn't match the scenes very well. It wasn't really powerful enough for the big fight scene.
Yeah.
It wasn't emotional enough in the sad scenes. There was silence when there should have been music. There was music when there should have been silence. It was
Who did
just
the
And
score?
there should have been immigrant song somewhere.
immigrant
out
song
there.
should have.
When Thor showed up, I mean, yeah, that.
What? No, he doesn't do anything. No, it should have.
Yeah.
That would have been the perfect time. For
Like,
that
it's
song.
his signature song now, isn't it? But
That is.
That
I'm gonna,
definitely
you know
is.
what? Talk about something else. I'm going to look up who does the score. I'll be the fact
right,
checker.
All right.
carry on.
I've got so many points. I mean, don't get me wrong, love the film.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they've not filmed.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a film like this. But then I thought the film was too busy. There was too many characters, and that's one of my points about it should have been broken down into a trilogy.
It was a double-edged. It was a double-edged sword.
Rather than duology. I don't know. It's like win-win for you, Marvel. Why don't you just make a trilogy? People will turn up to the theaters anyway.
The thing is, they've kind of planned their next 10 years.
Right,
honestly.
the way they've planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was too busy for me. And for someone who's watched all Marvel films many times, even then I found it difficult to understand what was going on for some of the characters. I had to remind myself what the character was about.
Definitely need to catch up. So I think I was speaking to my mate about this, right? I'm not going to name him because he's begging for a shout out of me right now. So you're not going to get a shout out. So
Just call him Charlie or something.
I'll just call him middle-aged, bald, fat guy. So
I'm just saying that my friends get shout outs.
yeah, but she's really nice.
Hey.
This guy's begging, going, you better give me a shout out. I'm like, no, you can't just beg for a shout
All right,
out.
go for it. What did he say?
Oh no, I was telling him like when it comes to watching the movies, like what are the core films you need to watch? So I was like, you probably need to watch Iron Man movies, Captain America movies, Avengers,
Literally.
Guardians, and probably Doctor Strange because
So
he has a
basically
big role.
18 movies before.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say you have to watch all of them. But I would say the core is Iron Man, Captain America, Avengers, Guardians, and probably Doctor Strange.
Yes.
Just so you understand the magic stuff.
Definitely
otherwise.
Doctor Strange.
Definitely Doctor.
But I think
I
the-
had the similar conversation.
I think the rest-
Agamotto. How else will you know what
I
that
think
is?
the rest you can get away without knowing much about. But I think those are the core.
I think really you need to see the ones with the Infinity Stones. So like Avengers,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy,
Guardians of the Galaxy is a must.
must obviously,
Because,
definitely. And then like, and as you say, like Doctor Strange. Unfortunately, there is an Infinity Stone in Thor: The Dark World.
Oh yeah, the reality stone. Exactly.
That's such a boring movie.
the
man.
worst film in Marvel.
Right.
Anyway.
Back to the score. I found out it is Alan Silvestri.
He did the
He
original
did-
Avengers, right?
He did Captain America, the Avengers, the original one. He also did like Mummy Returns. He also did Ready Player One.
All right, he sounds like a good
He
guy.
sounds like, yeah,
Why
and
did
he
he-
also did Back to the Future.
Why did you
trilogy.
mention Mummy for?
Yeah.
She's like, go home and purge.
He's like
purge
good,
out.
good, bad, good.
Let's look at the guy who did
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, Henry Jackman or something. There's a few other good movies as well. Civil War.
I don't know. This one
But
just
anyway,
flopped. All the rest of them fine.
without digressing much, the other few points I have, the film is too long for me. It
Yeah, I
is
think
just
everyone,
too
when he said
long.
2.5 hours, I was like, ooh.
But it's not really 2.5 hours. You go into the film, you have to watch the trailers,
Yeah.
and you have to watch the end credits thing. So it turned out to be 3 hours.
Yeah,
Just sitting down on
3
your
hours.
arse,
Yeah.
and I got a headache by the end of it.
Yeah.
But I suppose he had a massive Oreo milkshake.
And I think there were at least some people who had to go to the loo because it's
Yeah.
difficult.
No, that's a mistake. You should know this movie's long. You got to empty your
You
bladder
gotta,
out.
you
So
gotta
I
empty
went
the
to-
bottle and then
I
hold
took,
it.
I took no chances. I'm like, you know what, during the trailers,
I didn't even take food in, forget water. I didn't take anything in because I knew I'll get a headache, but I'll at least watch through it.
No, before and after. And during, I was like, I am the master of my own bladder. I'm the master.
right, if I'm going to throw in something like that, I think, what are the bad guys called? Like his crew.
So
The
you've
mid-
got Ebony Moore,
What are they
Corvus
called?
Glaive. They're the
Like,
Thanos children.
They had a name, I totally forgot what they were called.
They're like the Night Children. Or
Yeah,
something like
but
But the four horsemen.
those guys were very like, I didn't even know the name until like near the end. They kept on saying like, who the hell is Midnight Proxima? Sounds like a Pacific
girl
Rim
was-
Jaeger.
that. Proxima Midnight.
I thought the,
Yeah, whatever the hell, man. Who gives, no one cares, man. It's like such.
I thought
See,
the girl
I-
was really cool.
She was
She
cool,
looked cool,
yeah.
Super cool.
but like,
The little the thing with her at the end in the fight with the other people.
that was pretty cool actually.
that
That,
was
set
good.
piece they had.
I
But
loved her. Like,
yeah, that
it
was
looks like
great.
the Star Trek girl, man.
Amazing.
Had a similar kind of look to her.
Yeah. That's
And
just-
how was Voldemort? How do you like Voldemort?
He was probably the strongest. He was probably the
He
strongest
was
part
good,
of the
yeah.
four, but the rest just
Yeah.
seemed very token like.
like her and Ebony Moore is the magical
Voldemort
like
guy, yeah.
wizard.
Voldemort.
He was
yeah.
like a good foil to Stephen
Those
Strange.
two were really good. The other two were Black Dwarf and Corvus
Yeah,
Glaive, and
it's
I was like,
just-
meh.
They felt very like when they showed him, like, who is he again?
Do you remember Man of Steel when
don't.
Zod's army comes in to attack? It's like that. You don't even remember them.
Yeah.
I liked them. I liked that they were there, and I like Proxima Midnight, and I like Ebony more. But the other two were just kind of like backgroundy.
They really nerfed them. Apparently, in the comics they're like OP, but here it was a bit easy. Like they felt very like non-threatening, apart from the big guy, and also the whole Force storyline does really drag on a bit when they go to forge his new thing.
Yeah,
I found that really interesting.
But I think you could cut off a good 10 minutes from that segment alone. There's a lot of stuff in there. I thought, I don't care how he gets there. Just get there. Just show us getting there.
I would rather have that scene in there and then be a third film than that scene get cut out.
I honestly think
quite liked it. Yeah, I liked the character there as well. See, he got his muscle flexing bit like Captain America. That's my helicopter.
That's my pre-gym workout, man. I'm like, yo, let's do this, man.
Let's open an iris of a star. Yeah, let's do this.
there's a I'll say the spoiler review, but there is a line in there from the character there. It's such a throwback to what he shows up in. I'll mention it more in the spoiler.
Spoiler review, yeah.
Don't worry, we'll definitely. Anyway, let's wrap this. I think so. Let's quickly.
I've got a couple of things.
Yeah.
I agree. I think it was a bit rushed. I think it should have been 3. That was another point. It's just not enough time to save it. And then there were a couple of convenient coincidences. They're sort of plot device things that I was just like, so how did you get here?
Like Captain America.
Yeah.
He always shows up.
He's always there.
It's
and
the
I'm
beard.
like, how
It's the beard,
though?
man.
It's
the beard gives him powers.
You can teleport with him.
That Viking beard, man, is like.
And I think
he's one good-looking guy though with that beard.
Okay, Chris Evans Appreciation Society.
I wish I could.
I'm sorry, I'm a Hemsworth fan.
I'm sorry, man. It's just some people naturally have the beard.
And he is kind of copying Hemsworth with the beard.
Yeah, but
and they even
is
say that.
The hairstyle, so
yeah,
it is a trade-off.
He did cut it all off. And I think that just my last point is just they've done really well with the plot, but I feel like having so many of these same superhero movies in a short space of time, it does make the plot a little bit generic. So everyone's happy at the beginning and everything's fine, and then they someone comes and knocks them all down. They have a battle, but they're knocked down again, and then they come back together and they have a bigger battle, and then they succeed, and it's just kind of that.
To be honest, the ending is totally caught me off guard. I was not expecting that. That's what I'm gonna say. I thought, where are they going? Whoa.
Yeah.
The whole theatre went silent. Everyone did that just happen?
Yeah.
It was a good ending.
It was good because our cinema was really full, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Friday night
you could hear the silence in that part was just deafening.
Audible silence.
And you could just hear the reactions to everything and the gasps and the really, really sad bit.
Yeah.
And everyone was
I'm still feeling that. I had to text my mate this morning, are you okay? He looked in bad shape after a certain character bit the dust, and he's like, I said, don't worry, I'll message you tomorrow morning, man.
But like I say, that's the middle battle where they get knocked down, and then they're going to regroup. There's going to be a bigger battle, and they're going to succeed, and it's going to be all fine. But.
Right. So
but I've got one other point.
We've got a lot of points today.
There's one character who they try to save, and that's why they say we won't kill you, and instead we'll save you. Take them to Wakanda. And they try and save the character and get into a massive fight where so many people die. Yeah. Just sacrifice that one character. You can save so many others.
Yeah, so
I thought that was a silly plot move.
Drama, basically.
It's for the drama.
It's for the tension.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we'll do a spoiler review afterwards, so we can chat after there. So right now, let's just wrap it all up. I'll go with my review. I'll just say it's amazing, man. Thanos is the star of the show. You got to watch it. How do I rate it? Out of 10, I'll give it a 9. It's not perfect, but I think it's up because as a fan, 10 years of this has been building up. Yeah. All the cameos, all the interactions, the jokes, the drama, the ending, very ballsy. I was not expecting that ending.
Yeah.
Everything works. I mean, it's not perfect, but I think it's. I wouldn't even say it's the best Marvel movie, but it's definitely one of the best.
Should you watch?
Of course.
Obviously.
We just spent near 20 minutes on this.
I feel like you do have to watch quite a few of the
core ones.
Marvel
I kind of
movies.
mentioned.
The core ones you definitely have to watch. Yeah. I'd give it an 8, solid. Maybe an 8.5 if I was really, really happy or in a really great mood. But
it's because of the ending.
It's
the ending, isn't it? The ending. Sorry.
I'm I just didn't expect it. I was I predicted 1, maybe 2 people, and those people were right. But and I think it's just it's a behemoth.
Ending was so dark, he knocked off some points.
It's a mammoth film.
This from DC.
Deadpool. Oh my days. Something else. We'll go into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about
and
I'll say like A+, 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 for effort.
Wow, man! Like you
ex-
rarely give these
effort
effort.
and execution.
You always have something negative.
Like Joe and Anthony Russo, thumbs up.
Thumbs
to you,
up, guys.
buddies.
We love you.
Really, really amazing.
My friend isn't too happy with his call app, by the way. But that's what you get when you beg it, man. Stop
That's too
begging
bad.
it. Right. So